History is shaped by mistakes. As humans have been the cause of an infinite number of huge mistakes made since the dawn of humankind. Some lead to monumental leaps forward in human understanding. The path strolled by our forefathers had not been always smooth. They had their fair share of errors and blunders. Some of these blunders started out as tiny mistakes, but with time they turned out to be big enough to improve the history. There are lots of biggest mistakes ever made in human history. In this video, I tell you best 9 of them. Number 9. Great Sparrow Campaign. The Four Pests campaign was one of the first actions taken in the Great Leap Forward in China from 1958 to 1962. The 4 pests to be eliminated were rats, flies, mosquitoes, and sparrows. The extermination of sparrows is also known as Great Sparrow Campaign, which resulted in severe ecological imbalance, being one of the causes of the Great Chinese Famine. The result was a near extinction of sparrows in China. By April 1960, the citizens realized that the rice yields were substantially reducing instead of increasing. This was largely because the birds had been eating the insects, which now descended on the grains uninhibited. Then, Mao Zedong ended the campaign against sparrows and redirected the fourth focus to bedbugs. Number 8. Nuclear disaster at Chernobyl. The very famous Chernobyl disaster, which took place in 1986, is considered as the worst mistake of humans in history, as the explosion had occurred due to 4 faulty reactors, which were never replaced or repaired. These faulty reactors were responsible for letting out a high amount of radiation in the air, thus killing a large number of people around the area. Number 7. NASA's Challenger explodes on liftoff. The year 1986 saw the explosion of the spacecraft, named Challenger, sent by NASA. It exploded within a few seconds of its liftoff and 7 crew members died in the explosion. NASA was blamed for the faulty construction and design, and for being negligent when it came to combining the boosters and cooling temperatures of the space shuttle. Number 6. Throwing Bitcoin portfolio. James Howells bought 7,500 bitcoins in 2009, when their value was next to nothing. By 2013, 1 bitcoin was worth £613, giving the Welshman a portfolio worth £4.5 million. He'd left his hard drive tucked away in a drawer for years and then thrown it away without a minute's thought. After realizing his mistake, he made a hopeful trip to his local landfill site where he was told the hard drive could be at any spot under around 5 feet of rubbish. Number 5. Blockbuster misses an opportunity to own Netflix. Back in 2000, Netflix had made a proposal to Blockbuster by asking the rental store to partner with it. Reed Hastings, the Netflix CEO, approached John Antioco, Blockbuster CEO, and asked if he could sell him Netflix for $50 million. The idea was that Netflix would manage Blockbuster's brand online while Blockbuster would promote Netflix in physical stores. But Blockbuster felt the merger was not going to be beneficial. Ironically, Blockbuster later went bankrupt after Netflix acquired a bigger share of the market. Just recently, Netflix reached 50 million subscribers, and its services became available in 40 countries. Antioco may have been tough, but he lacked the vision to see where the home video industry was headed. Number 4. Angering Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan, the ruler of the Mongol Empire, had sought to open diplomatic and trade links with Alauddin Muhammad, Shah of the neighboring Khwarezmid Empire, modern-day Iran, in the 13th century. However, after the offer was rejected and a Mongol diplomat beheaded, Khan reacted furiously, sending in an estimated 200,000 warriors and utterly destroying the empire. Number 3. Russia sold Alaska. In what might have been one of the worst trade deals in the history of trade deals, Russia dumped the territory of Alaska on the United States for the low fee of $7.2 million. Only 50 years later, Americans discovered quite a bit of gold in the last frontier, and the Klondike Gold Rush started, making the US territory worth more than 100 times the original purchasing price. Number 2. Apple's third founder. Apple founders Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak became household names as their tech company skyrocketed to fame. They might have had to share their success with a third founder, Ron Wayne, had he not sold his equity in 1976. Grated by Jobs, Wayne cashed out his 10% share of Apple for $800 early in the company's history. If he'd held out until 2013, that same equity would have been worth $35 billion. Number 1. Not buying Google for $1 million. Google founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin approached Exciteseer George Bell in 1999, saying they were looking to sell the search engine for around $1 million. With Bell not keen on the initial offering, the pair went down to $750,000 in a bid to tempt him. He still rejected. Today, Google is valued at around $365 billion.